Students, hope you all are fine. Myself Neeraj, and today we will start chapter number 6, that is tissues. A tissue is a group of cells similar in structure that work together to perform a particular function. The term tissue was coined by Parenchyma in 1792, and study of tissues is called histology. All the cells of a tissue have the common origin. Now let us study what are the objectives of this chapter. Study of tissue, various types of plant tissue and animal tissues, characteristics and where are the tissues found, functions of different types of tissues. As we have studied that all organisms are made up of cells. In unicellular organism, a single cell performs all basic functions. Like in amoeba, a single cell is responsible for movement, intake of food and gases, respiration as well as excretion. But in multicellular organism, as there are millions of cells and these cells are specialized to carry out a few functions. Group of cells perform specialized function very efficiently. Example, muscle cells contract and relax for movement. Nerve cell carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones, waste material, etc. Plants, vascular tissues such as xylem and phloem conduct food and water from one part of plant to other parts. Therefore, multicellular organisms division of labor. Particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. This cluster of cells is known as tissue, is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function, like blood, phloem and muscles are the examples of tissue. Group of cells that are similar in structure and perform a particular function is tissue. What is the function of tissue? As tissues has brought division of labor, tissues become organized to form organs and organs into organ systems. Workload of every cell has decreased due to origin of tissues. Are the plants and animals made up of same type of tissues? What do you think? Not at all. They are made up of different type of tissues. Let us study why plants are stationary or fixed. They don't move. Therefore, most of the tissues in plants are supportive, means which provides them strength. Most of the cells found in plants are dead, as dead cell can provide mechanical strength as easily as live cells and need less maintenance, whereas animals need to move in search of food, shelter, etc., and they consume more energy. Therefore, most of the tissues in animals are living. Skin difference is due to the pattern of growth, as in plants is limited to certain regions, but in animals it is not so. There are some tissues that grow or divide continuously throughout their life. These tissues are localized in certain regions. Based on the dividing capacity, plant tissues can be divided into meristematic tissue and complex tissues. Growth is more uniform, so there is no such demarcation of dividing as well as non-dividing tissues in animals. Also, the structural organization of organs and organ system is more specialized and specialized in complex animals than in complex plants. Modes of life are pursued by the two major group of organisms, particularly in their feeding methods. and they are also adapted for a sedentary existence on one hand, plants, and active locomotion on the other, that is animals, contributing to this difference in organ system design. Let us study about plant tissues in detail. Is a diagram of plant tissue which consists of a group of cells to perform different functions. For example, xylem, phloem, that are known as vascular tissues, epidermis, plant tissues, and animal tissues. Difference in tabular form. In plants, dead supportive tissues are more abundant as compared to living tissue. But in multicellular animals, living tissues are more common as compared to dead tissues. They require less maintenance energy. They require more maintenance energy. There is differentiation of meristematic and permanent tissues in plants. Such a differentiation is absent in animal tissues. Due to activity of meristematic tissues, plants continue to grow throughout life. Animals do not show growth after reaching maturity. Organization of plant tissues is simple, whereas organization of animal tissues is complex, with the development of more specialized and localized organs and organ systems. Tissue organization is meant for stationary habit of plants. Tissue organization is targeted towards high mobility in animals. About plant tissues in detail. Meristematic tissue are apical, lateral, and intercalary depending on the position where they are found. Meristem is found at the growing tips, intercalary at the internodes of the plant. Tissue consists of Parenchyma, Collenchyma, and Sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma further consists of fibers and sclerids. And complex tissue found in plants are xylem and phloem that conducts food and water from one part to the another. Let us study about the meristematic tissue in detail. Cells of meristems divide continuously and help in increasing the length and diameter of the plant. Let us perform an activity on the meristematic tissue. For this, you will require 2 glass jars labeled as A and B, 2 onions and scissors. The root tips of one onion with help of scissor and put it in one jar, and another onion having root tips in another jar. Observe the growth for 3 to 5 days. What you will observe? There is growth in the jar B, as we have not cut root tips of onion in jar B. This is due to the meristem, which helps in growth of the roots, and it is present at the growing tip of stem and roots. After cutting the tips, they are not able to grow and divide, so there is no growth found in jar A. The growth of plants occur only in certain regions. This is because that is the meristematic tissue, and dividing tissue is located only at these points. Depending on the region where they are present, they are classified as apical, lateral, and intercalary. New cells produced by meristem are initially like those of meristem, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change and they become differentiated as component of other tissue. This is apical meristem, which is found at growing tip of stem, roots, and leaves. This is intercalary meristem, which is present at the base of leaves and internodes. Meristem is found beneath the bark and in vascular bundles of dicot roots and stems. These occur in thin layers. Apical meristem is present at growing tips, so it results in increase of length of stem and the root. Diameter of the stem or root increases due to lateral meristem. Intercalary meristem is at the base of the leaves or internode. Let us study about characteristics of the meristematic tissue. The cells of meristematic tissue are similar in structure and have thin cellulose cell walls. They may be spherical, oval, polygonal, or rectangular in shape. Meristematic cells are compactly arranged and there is no intracellular space between them. Each meristem cell contains dense or abundant cytoplasm with a large single cell nucleus and have few vacuoles or no vacuoles at all. Functions of meristematic tissue, that is, it acts as a parent tissue from which other tissues develop. These tissues take part in growth by formation of new cells. Lack vacuoles as there is no need to store. Happens to the cell formed by meristematic tissue. They take up a specific role and lose the ability to divide. So they make a permanent tissue. This process of taking up a permanent shape and a function is called differentiation. Cells of meristematic tissue differentiate to form different types of permanent tissue. This is a figure of stem showing the different types of cells present in the stem, like epidermis, hypodermis, cortex, endodermis, phloem, cambium, metaxylem, protoxylem, medullary ray, xylem. Xylem is a vascular bundle. What will we do? We will take a plant stem, help of scissors, cut it into very thin slices. Stain the slices with the help of safranin. Cover with the help of a cover slip and observe it under microscope and observe the number of cells and various types of cells present in that slice of cell can be seen under the microscope. Can you tell are these cells are of same type or many types of cell can be seen? Try to answer it. Let us study about simple permanent tissue. A few layers of cell form the basic packing of the tissue, and this tissue is parenchyma, which is a type of permanent tissue. It consists of relatively unspecialized cells having thin cell walls. They are live cells and loosely packed. Large intracellular space is present in between the cells, which is found in this tissue. This tissue provides support to the plants and also stores food. In some situations, when it contains chlorophyll and is able to perform photosynthesis, it is known as Chlorine Khaimah. In aquatic plants, large air cavities are present in parenchyma to give buoyancy to plants so that it helps them to float. Such a parenchyma is known as Parenchyma. Parenchyma of stems and roots also stores nutrients and water. This is the figure of parenchyma having large central vacuole, a nucleus. As you can see, there is intracellular space, means there is space between two cells, thin peripheral layer of protoplasm, and it is cell's primary cell wall. Here is figure of transverse section and longitudinal section of flexibility in plants is due to another type of tissue, that is Collenchyma. It allows easy bending in various parts of plant, and it also provides mechanical support to plants. Khaimah also consists of living cells, and it differentiates from parenchyma as there is extra deposition of cellulose at corners, and it is located below epidermis, petiole, and midrib of dicot leaves. So, the cells of this tissue are living, elongated, and irregularly thickened at the corners. Therefore, there is very little intracellular space in between the cells in Collenchyma tissue. This is longitudinal section of Collenchyma and transverse section, as you can see in figure. Wall thickenings, nucleus, vacuole, cell wall. And what are its function? It provides mechanical support and elasticity. It helps in easy bending of part in which it is present without breaking. What are the differences between parenchyma and collenchyma? Parenchyma consists of thin-walled living cells, whereas in collenchyma the tissue consists of cells having localized thickening in their cell walls. Parenchyma is distributed in almost all parts of the plant, and collenchyma occurs mostly in aerial parts of the plant and is restricted to the other layers. Cells of parenchyma assimilate and store food. They also store waste products. Collenchyma is the chief mechanical tissue in which parts of young plants, particularly in young dicot stems. Thank you.